Bang, what up, gang? I found something out and I really need to let you know. So it's bad news, but at the same time, we're getting smarter, right? So I want to inform you on this, and I don't know why. I never thought about this, and this is gonna be a quick video. I was talking about this, so I have my boy, he's connected with everybody. I'm like, hey, I want to buy a verse from Kevin Gates. I was like, how much would it be? He's like 20, and I'm like, do you think that he would take 15 grand? And I by the way, I've never paid anybody for a verse ever. I got Dax in here. He came. I've been cool with him for like 6 months. And he's like, yeah, I got you that I had some other guy. We recorded the song yesterday. I don't pay people for verses, but I have this new song that's like crazy sick. And I was like, look, who would sound good on this? And then when I said Kevin Gates, my team was like, yes, that would be so dope on this song. So I'm like, okay, cool, let's buy a verse from him. And my boy was like, I just call my boy, I'm not gonna name drop. And he's like, yeah, I could freaking get him to come over to your studio. You give him 15 grand, he'll come over there, he'll record the verse. He's like, but you have a problem. And I'm like, I was all excited. I'm like, what's the problem? Right? He's like, even if you release the song, he's like, the label's gonna have to clear it. He's like, or you release it, but as soon as it starts moving, if they're not getting paid from it, they're not gonna clear the song and it's gonna get a cease and desist. And I was like, my mind exploded, right? Because I've never been at a point in my career where I was like, I could just buy a verse from somebody. Like I could just throw 15, 20 grand at a verse, it ain't nothing. I've never been at that point. And you're gonna get to this point too one day, so I want you to understand what's happening here. Do you understand what's happening? There's a problem here, right? So if somebody's signed to a major label and they're not gonna, and you pay somebody under the table cash for a verse, let's say you pay 10 grand for a verse from any rapper that you wanted to get on a song with, but they have a label and under the label owns the artist, okay? When somebody's signed to a record label, they're an employee of the label, even though they're signed to get all those advantages, but the label still decides when music's allowed to be released. So if you pay for a verse from an artist, and I don't know why I never thought about this, except for the fact that I never did it before, in that moment, I was like, fuck! You can't buy a verse from a big artist without the label actually approving it. So even if you spend the money on a verse, please take note of this. Even if you buy a verse from an artist who's signed, their label still has to write off that it's okay for you to release this song. So, what I'm gonna teach you guys today is that. But also, if you ever buy a verse from somebody you signed, also make sure that it includes written permission from their record label that you're allowed to release a song, okay? I just learned this, and that's why Smart Rapper's here. If I learn something, I teach you. And I'm telling you, because I never went to go buy a verse from anybody. I never had even considered being like, I'm gonna drop this money, I'm gonna start buying verses from rappers. Because my plan was, in 2019, I was gonna get all the rappers, I get free verses from certain people, right? But then other people, you want to give them the value for their time, okay? Everything's about value. So I have no problem paying an artist for their value and their time. But now that I'm realizing it, because every month I was gonna get a new rapper, I was gonna be like, hey, here's this, let's get them in the studio, let's get some footage, let me learn from them, and also be able to teach you guys when they're in the studio. And I'm sitting here like, now it's like, okay, this kind of changes my plans. Not much, but a little bit, because now I have to get written permission from anybody I get a song from if they're signed to a label. Now, additionally, my boy told me, he's like, now, I'm like, what? I was like, wait a minute, what if I bought the verse from them before they signed to the label and I hadn't released a song yet or whatever? He's like, yeah, but then you have grounds because they weren't signed yet and you had the verse prior to that. So they can still send a cease and desist and shit like that, but you may potentially be perfectly fine. But I need you to know this, okay? Because I know there's a lot of artists out there probably buying verses, and oftentimes, I know people are buying verses from mid-level artists for like $2,500 for the artist feature. They're getting the features, but here's the thing. Yes, you release a song, and yes, you're promoting the song and it's growing, but here's what's gonna happen. If that song pops off, goes million, 2 million, and their label takes notice, it's helping the artist grow, obviously, but you don't think that they're gonna come for their money, even though you're gonna say, look, I paid him for this. They don't care because they didn't get any money from that deal. You paid the artist the cash. He pocketed the cash, didn't tell the label. The label's gonna be like, well, we want our cut of the money. So of course you're probably giving the artist maybe their songwriting percentage of the song. You feel what I'm saying? Which is another thing. But we'll talk about that in a different video, right? But the thing is, though, is the label still is gonna want to get paid because they have the artist, they own the artist, they want to get paid. So that's the bad news I have. But at the same time, I feel like it's very informative. You know what I'm saying? If you're ever gonna buy a verse from any artist, doesn't matter if it's $1,000, doesn't matter if it's, you know what I'm saying? You got to get written permission from their label that says it's okay to do that. Because again, it is business. You just became a smarter rapper. All right. By the way, obviously, I have a new song coming with Dax. It's probably gonna release in February, March. I got a new song. I got a whole bunch of artists you guys definitely know of on a couple tracks coming in 2019. 2019 is the takeover, right? So make sure you subscribe here and subscribe to my music channel. I'll put a link below for that. And don't forget to subscribe to the Rap School channel, which will help anybody who's in their first year or two of rapping. Okay, so both channels are gonna be very helpful, and then my music's gonna be on the other channel. See you guys again tomorrow with another video. Keep hustling, gang. We're taking over 2019. I got your back.